Hello, I'm Rabbi Abram Goodstein of the congregation Beth Shalom, and I gave this sermon on July 30th. This week, we find ourselves near the beginning of the book of Deuteronomy. A number of weeks ago, I spent some time discussing about the despair the Israelites felt when they learned that they would be wandering the desert until their deaths, that they would be a caretaker generation for their children who will be the true inheritors of Adonai's covenant. And as you may remember, the Israelites did not go willingly. Well, this week's portion, we have Moses offering a very long sermon to all the Israelites. The Israelites are, of course, members of the new generation, with Moses and Joshua being the only known holdovers of that previous generation. Moses is telling this generation their people's story as they escape Egypt and begin their wandering. And he lets slip some new information that we did not know before. He starts out by saying, remember how long you traveled with Adonai who forced you to wander the wilderness for 40 years? The you here is a bit interesting because it makes it sound like Moses is talking to the Israelites who left Egypt. But of course, everyone in this age group did some amount of wandering with their parents. Anyways, he continues. The clothes you wear did not wear out, nor did your feet swell these 40 years. Now for me, this is a huge surprise. Back in the book of Exodus, and again in Numbers, we hear so much about manna. We're reminded again and again how wonderful manna is, that the Israelites don't have to spend large parts of their day scavenging for food. The Israelites, to God's surprise, are really meh about the manna. And when God asks them why they don't think this is the greatest thing on the earth, their response was, it's boring to eat every day. And this led to the great quail disaster, but I won't get into that right now. Anyways, here we learn that our caretaker generation were the beneficiaries of two more incredible miracles. One that kept their clothes pristine for 40 years, and another that kept their feet from being swollen from all that walking. Rabbis like myself are pretty obsessed with any information that has to do with the 40 years of wandering, because there is so little we know about it. Back in the book of Numbers, all we get is, and they wandered for 38 more years. That's all. We don't know where they went. We don't know what they did for fun. And we don't know what stories they told their children. This is the time where the Israelites transition from slaves to their own unique people, and we don't get to see it. So this bit of new information in Deuteronomy is very exciting. These Israelites were forced to wander for 38 years until their deaths, and yet we know of some of the things they did not die from. They didn't die from hunger because of the manna. They didn't die from a thirst because of Miriam's well, which is the rock that produces water. And now we know they did not die from exposure because their clothes never got worn out. And we also know they didn't stop wandering due to sore feet because their feet never got swollen. These are all benefits that go away as soon as they enter the land of Canaan. And this is why the book of Deuteronomy may be so necessary. Sometimes even I complain how long Moses' sermon gets in this book. However, something really important is happening here. Moses is not just preparing a nomadic people to become a people of a nation, but also a people who will not receive the same treatment as their parents. Moses needs to remind these Israelites that their parents were being punished. After Moses reminds the Israelites about their 40 years of wandering, he says, in order to test your heart through hardships to learn whether you would keep the divine commandment or not. Moses goes on to say that if this generation keeps God's commandment, they'll receive a better reward, a good land, a land with streams and springs and fountains, a land of wheat and barley, vines, figs, pomegranates, a land of olive trees and honey, says Moses. And in my first pass at this line, I find Adonai's understanding of a reward and punishment very interesting here. Adonai punishes the Israelites by making them wander, but gives them everything that they need. Adonai rewards the Israelites by giving them a place, but it's a place where they have to work. The Israelites will have to plant the wheat, barley, fruits, and vegetables, and then farm them. Agriculture is a great gift, but it's a gift that requires so much work. However, in my second pass, I think the reward is way more important than agriculture. I believe that the reward that Adonai is offering is civilization. Moses says something interesting here. He says, Adonai showed you the hardship of hunger, but then gave you manna in order to teach you that a person does not live on bread alone. But that person may live on anything Adonai decrees. I happen to believe that bread is the food of civilization. It requires fertile soil, stability, and infrastructure to make. Adonai took all of these things away to punish the Israelites. Adonai, by offering the miracle of manna, endless water, pristine clothes, and non-swelling feet, Adonai took away the Israelites' capacity to build a civilization. And now I can truly understand how horrible the Israelites felt when they were condemned to this lifestyle, and how eager they are in Deuteronomy to take back their gift of civilization, and why Moses feels it is necessary to spend the whole book of Deuteronomy sermonizing at the Israelites. Moses is teaching the Israelites the tools needed to build a successful civilization. Thank you.